right, next up we have Arla Patch. Arla joins us tonight from Bryant Pond. Arla's friend Kirk tells us that Arla had been around the world twice by the time she was 21 years old. As the daughter of a Navy pilot, Arla had the opportunity to travel throughout Europe, Laos, Singapore, Japan, Italy, North Africa, and Greece, and she graduated high school at the International School of Bangkok, Thailand. Arla is an artist, teacher, writer, and workshop leader who intends to use art as a tool for healing. Through a personal artist statement, Arla says, "A challenging personal history and the earth herself created the source material for my artistic life. An art education gave me the skills to express my connection to nature and supported my motivation to heal childhood wounds. Art has been the foundation of personal transformation, and sharing its healing power with others has become my life's work. Making art for me is a concrete visual expression of a process of shifting awareness. I have also come to see it as a manifestation of spirit moving through us."
Please welcome Arla Patch to tell us about her nature fusion process.
I guess this is in the right spot. Hello, everyone. I live in the mountains, and this is a story of how a self-employed artist survives in rural Maine, among other things. 600 years ago, I would have been burned at the stake because I have visions and I hear voices. One morning in a half-sleep state, I had a vision of a woman made out of ferns. I realized that I could create this image by shooting a slide of ferns, projecting it on myself, then reshooting that projection in the dark. So these are not photoshopped. This led to 19 images combined with all manner of nature, fire, water, flowers, grasses, and a very powerful story of healing that occurred at the same time in my own life. My baseball-sized fibroid tumor shrunk to the size of a walnut after I had been visualizing it shrinking for 6 months. I then became a true believer in the mind-body connection. These nature fusion images helped me to see myself in a way that created a healing for me from my own trauma history. I detailed this book, A Body Story, and was shocked when it was nominated for Outstanding Book of the Year by the independent publishers. This award, in part, motivated me to start sharing the nature fusion process, which I did trademark, as a healing workshop for women in prison. This is Opal from a prison in Washington State. I was delighted to discover that it was as powerful an effect on others as it had on me. I also shared it with at-risk teens at the Copper Canyon Academy in Arizona. It's a therapeutic boarding school for, quote, troubled girls. This is one of my teenage girls from there, and this photograph actually won a merit award from Color Magazine as part of a portfolio competition. The important part to me about this was that they knew nothing about the stories behind the image. The work I did with women in prison and at-risk teens, I documented in my second book, Finding Ground, Girls and Women in Recovery. And last May, I went to New York City and it won a gold medal for inspirational spiritual. These are definitely the moments that keep me believing. Another way in which art has been a tool for healing in my life has been body casting. And this piece is part of an entire series of castings that I have done that have also supported my own recovery from my past. This one is called Gratitude, and for me, it feels like a vision of what meditation and prayer look like. Marking the end of a long and difficult year of mourning, this piece is called Unconditional Joy. It celebrates realization of finally ending a lifetime pattern of accepting less than I deserved. A woman with my same history saw this at the Women in Power Conference at the Omega Institute, and she now owns it, and it lives in Washington, D.C. Since body casting works so well for me, I decided to offer the breastplate process to women with breast cancer. Plus, my mother had had a mastectomy, and I had had a benign lumpectomy. I offered it here in Maine and also traveled to North Carolina through a hospital and offered it to women there for several years. I work with people one-on-one and sometimes in solo retreats at my home, which is the Grace Retreat Center. I use 3 modalities: the nature fusion process, a body casting, and a drawing process. This was a young woman who came to me rewriting the script of her difficult past by putting new messages on strips of paper that she held in her belly. I like the idea of artist as inventor, and this piece came from hearing a voice that said, "Put yourself first." When I got to the top of the mountain and I heard that, I stepped into that idea and saw this God body that I wear under my skin. In trying to come up with a new project for my students, I made up this way of drawing with coils of polymer clay. This is a detail to give you a better idea of how these are made. They get formed and framed, and then they hang on the wall. These too have been helpful in processing events in my life. One of those events was a woman who had made a breastplate with me when she had breast cancer, but her cancer came back and she was now dying. I was on my way to say goodbye. Driving there, I breathed in and asked for help, and my pelvis lit up, helping me to feel grounded and calm. This piece is called Saying Goodbye to Sherry Rose. She died 5 days later. A young yoga therapist saw my cover article in Inner Tapestry and called me with the idea to create yoga images using my nature fusion process. So we've created a series that will be available on a website called Nature Fusion Yoga. It's been great to collaborate with her and use my process in this new way. As a self-employed artist, I'm constantly looking for ways to create livelihood that are also part of my overall mission to support others in healing. And because I'm interested in art as a tool for healing and bringing people to wellness, and because there's no real name for what I do, I've come to call myself a creativity midwife. Jessica McNeely is the yoga therapist in these photographs. She and I have enjoyed creating the images together. This one was made by projecting a bird of paradise on her. The exposures are long, and holding the pose has been a challenge. I'm interested in couples, both psychologically and visually, and this one is called Maple Symmetry. The models are 2 high school students of mine right after they graduated. I taught them ever since 1st grade, all the way through high school, in my private program called Explorations, which is now in its 20th year. This photograph won a merit award from Color Magazine in their single image contest. This is some of my new work. It's called Vestment, which to me means sacred clothes. My photography is represented by Vox Photographs, and this image will be part of the new show at the Portland Public Library that opens next week on November 4th. My most recent photo shoot is a series that I call 60th Year. In my ongoing practice of trying to honor my body, this is just one from that group. This happens to be a watercolor that I did of a cross-section of the earth when I was in my 30s. I wear it now as a 60-year-old.